Namaskar. It is said to make an end is to make a beginning. Another author writes, I have always heard every ending is also a beginning. We just do not know it at the time. I would like to believe that is true. And today, we do believe this as today we are standing at the confluence of an ending and a beginning. A very unique occasion indeed. आज CSIR IMTECH के 1 week 1 lab कार्यक्रम का समापन है, तो साथ ही हमारी सिस्टर लैब CSIR CSIO के 1 week 1 lab कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ भी है। इस अवसर पर IMTECH परिवार तो सभागार में मौजूद है ही, साथ ही इनॉग्रेशन के लिए CSIO परिवार से भी लगभग 150 सदस्य इस सभागार में हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। हमें आप सबको यह सूचित करते हुए बहुत प्रसन्नता और गर्व भी हो रहा है कि इस महत्वपूर्ण अवसर पर महानिदेशक CSIR एवं सचिव DSIR डॉक्टर N. कलई सेल्वी हमारे अनुरोध को स्वीकार कर हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं। हम मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में नहीं कहेंगे, क्योंकि आदरणीय मैडम गेस्ट न होकर CSIR परिवार की मुखिया के रूप में आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। हम आदरणीय DG CSIR को संस्थान की ओर से बुके भेंट करना चाहेंगे। संस्थान निदेशक डॉक्टर खोसला से मैं अनुरोध कर रही हूँ इसके लिए, और हमें ये भी बताते हुए प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि ये बुके संस्थान में ही उगाए गए फूलों से बनाया गया है। और अब हम डायरेक्टर CSIO से निवेदन कर रहे हैं मैडम को बुके भेंट करने के लिए। धन्यवाद सर। कार्यक्रम को शुरू करते हुए संस्थान निदेशक डॉक्टर संजीव खोसला से महानिदेशक मैडम डॉक्टर कलई सेल्वी, CSIR CSIO निदेशक प्रोफेसर S. अनंत रामकृष्णा और आप सबका IMTECH में स्वागत करेगा, औपचारिक स्वागत करेगा आग्रह डॉक्टर खोसला।
Kalai Selvi, DG CSIR and Secretary DSIR, Professor Anant Ramakrishna, a colleague and director of our sister concern CSIO, distinguished scientists, students, friends from the media, and all my colleagues. It's indeed a very privileged moment for us in IMTECH and CSIO to welcome Dr. Kalai Selvi for this 1 week, 1 lab. For us, it's a valedictory function. And we've gone through a fabulous week of engagement with all stakeholders of the society, whether it's industry, students, general society, people, and has really given us an opportunity to learn a lot. Of course, one of the prime things that we actually could achieve during this particular week was networking with the industry, academia, and very importantly, taking our science to the common person. During the first day, during our inaugural function, we also had inauguration of a GMP facility, which you just visited. It's a national repository of microbial cell banks, and which we intend to use for the industry, which they want to use for biopharmaceutical products. So it has been dedicated to the nation by our Honorable Governor. Um, in the Industry Academy meet, we achieved a lot. Achievements in terms of networking, of course, was there, but coming together of so many brilliant minds under one roof brought in ideas which actually have invigorated our thought processes, and I'm very sure in times to come we will be able to actually take several projects forward. One special program that we had was with our colleagues from STI Science and Technology Innovation Hub in Leh. We actually requested them to bring a few entrepreneurs, farmers and students from Ladakh. They all visited us, interacted with us. They learned from us and we learned from them about their problems. And I think so that was another important feather that we collected during this week. For our social, scientific social responsibility, we also had connection with our startups. One of the main reasons that we wanted to connect with the startups was to figure out what the region requires and what the startups here really want. Startups in Hyderabad, Bangalore have a different requirement, whereas in this region requirements are much different, and that is what we wanted to figure out. And this would not have been possible without the active collaboration of Invest Punjab and PBTI, Punjab Biotechnology Incubator, and this was made possible with that. We also had, very importantly, skill development programs, whether it was skill Vigyan training program in life science and biotechnology, or it was shadow a scientist, or summer research internship. We yesterday also initiated a workshop on advances in bioprocess technologies, something that you just saw. We would be actually teaching them. Of course, Jigyasa program is a highlight of CSIR, and we in IMTECH were able to interact with the young minds of New India, and I think so it was a very important event for us in IMTECH. As was discussed during our initial days of 1 week, 1 lab, that we should integrate any day that is a special day during that week. Luckily for us, we had the International Yoga Day on 21st, and it was really enthusiastic participation of everyone in IMTECH. Of course, there was a morning session of yoga, but we also learned a lot about our well-being and health from experts on that particular day. Now, this would not have been possible without the support and guidance it takes, and without the vision of leaders like you. And this was a huge, I would say very huge, because 1 week, while we think is a small 7 days, but actually it requires a lot of work, and it wouldn't have been possible without your guidance. I'm sure this program will enhance IMTECH's efforts towards generating more intense networks, but also has given us the chance to understand what we need to do and where we need to go. So I once again thank you for initiating such a program on a nationwide level, and I thank from bottom of my heart and on behalf of the entire IMTECH family for actually coming here today, being with us on this momentous occasion. Thank you very much.
शुक्रिया सर। आज इस कार्यक्रम में IMTECH द्वारा महानिदेशक मैडम की मौजूदगी में 3 MOU एक्सचेंज होंगे। पहला MOU पंजाब बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इंक्यूबेटर मोहाली और इमटेक के बीच में स्टार्टअप जगत और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को उत्साहित करने के उद्देश्य से एक्सचेंज किया जा रहा है। इसके लिए हम इमटेक के हेड PMBD डॉक्टर मनोज कुमार जी और PBDI की ओर से CEO डॉक्टर अजीत दुआ जी को सादर आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं मंच पर। शुक्रिया। अगले 2 MOU का उद्देश्य जैसा कि MOU में लिखा गया है जो है वो है टू ऑर्गेनाइज स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम एंड इंटर्नशिप एक्सेट्रा फॉर क्रिएटिंग ट्रेन्ड वर्कफोर्स इन इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज इन ऑर्डर टू ब्रिज द स्किल गैप एंड मेक देम इंडस्ट्री रेडी एज पर द गाइडलाइंस। इनमें से पहला MOU इमटेक और गुजरात स्टेट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी मिशन GSBMT गांधीनगर गुजरात के बीच एक्सचेंज होगा। इसके लिए हम इमटेक की ओर से स्किल डेवलपमेंट के कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर नीरज खत्री जी एवं GSBMT की ओर से ज्वाइंट डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर अनुसुया को इस एक्सचेंज के लिए सादर आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं। स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए ही दूसरा MOU इमटेक और गुरु अंगद देव वेटनरी एंड एनिमल साइंसेज यूनिवर्सिटी लुधियाना पंजाब के बीच एक्सचेंज होना है। इसके लिए हम इमटेक की ओर से फिर से डॉक्टर नीरज खत्री जी को और गुरु अंगद देव वेटनरी एंड एनिमल साइंस यूनिवर्सिटी लुधियाना के डायरेक्टर रिसर्च डॉक्टर JPS गिल और डीन कॉलेज ऑफ एनिमल बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डॉक्टर यशपाल मलिक को इन्वाइट कर रहे हैं। धन्यवाद। CSIR IMTECH has been actively organizing various events under Jigyasa and skill development programs. Thus, during 1 week, 1 lab program also, 2 programs, namely Shadow a Scientist and training of trainers of Internet of Things in healthcare were conducted under the banner of Jigyasa. We are first inviting the participants of Shadow a Scientist program. One of the participants will be receiving the certificates on behalf of the whole group from Madam DG CSIR. Shadow a Scientist group is participants of Shadow a Scientist group are invited, please. After this group, the participants of Training of Trainers group are invited. They kindly be ready to come onto the stage. And now the participants of training of trainers board are invited on the stage for receiving the participation certificate in the similar fashion and a group photo with Honorable Madam. In this 3-day program, a total number of 20 trainers from 3 states have been trained. वन वीक वन लाइफ कार्यक्रम के दौरान नेशनल बायो फार्मा मिशन वायरैक के सहयोग से एडवांसेस इन बायो प्रोसेस टेक्नोलॉजीज पर नेशनल हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग वर्कशॉप का आयोजन भी संस्थान में जारी है। इस प्रतिभागी ग्रुप को भी हम सर्टिफिकेट्स प्राप्त करने के लिए आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं। वन वीक वन लैब कार्यक्रम के दौरान नेशनल बायो फार्मा मिशन वायरैक के सहयोग से एडवांसेस इन बायो प्रोसेस टेक्नोलॉजीज पर नेशनल हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग वर्कशॉप का आयोजन भी संस्थान में जारी है। चूंकि प्रतिभागी ये हैंड्स ऑन वर्कशॉप में काम कर रहे हैं, तो मैं उनके कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर रवि मिश्रा जी को उन सब के बिहाफ पर प्रमाण पत्र प्राप्त करने के लिए आमंत्रित कर रही हूँ। वन वीक वन लैब के दौरान स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम के तहत विनोबा भावे यूनिवर्सिटी झारखंड और GSBTM गुजरात के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए स्किल विज्ञान ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम आयोजित किया गया था। इसके प्रतिभागियों को भी हम मंच पर प्रमाण पत्र प्राप्त करने के लिए आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं। महानिदेशक CSIR से प्रतिभागियों को प्रमाण पत्र देने का अनुरोध है। दोनों ही जगह के ग्रुप जो है मौजूद है मंच पर। 1 लाख के दौरान वन लाख के दौरान इमटेक के विद्यार्थियों के लिए और स्टाफ के लिए बैटरी पैलेट वेयर साइंस मीट्स आर्ट कॉन्टेस्ट का आयोजन किया गया था। इस कॉन्टेस्ट के विजेताओं को भी हम मंच पर आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं प्रमाण पत्र प्राप्त करने के लिए। बैटरी पैलेट वेयर साइंस मीट्स आर्ट्स कॉन्टेस्ट के प्रतिभागी विजेता आमंत्रित हैं मंच पर। इन सबके अलावा 1 वीक 1 लैब के दौरान इमटेक ने मर्ग के साथ मिलकर भी एक आयोजन किया था। ये केवल आपकी सूचना के लिए है। आगे बढ़ते हुए, जैसा कि इमटेक परिवार के सदस्य जानते हैं, माननीय राज्यपाल पंजाब एवं प्रशासक चंडीगढ़ द्वारा इमटेक के 1 वीक 1 लैब कार्यक्रम का वर्चुअल उद्घाटन भी किया गया था। अब इसके वर्चुअल क्लोजर के लिए हम मैडम डीजी CSIR से सादर अनुरोध कर रहे हैं। हम कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हैं। As we indicated in the beginning, today's event is the confluence of culmination of 1 week 1 lab at IMTECH and the beginning of 1 week 1 lab program of CSIR. Director CSIR and members of CSIR family are present here in the audience to witness the beginning of this program, a kind of historic and very significant event of 1 week 1 lab. We request Professor S. Ananta Ramakrishna, Director CSIR, for the opening remarks of the program.
Honorable Director General CSIR and Secretary DSIR, Dr. Kalaisali, Dr. Sanjay Khosla, Director of our sister laboratory, CSIR IMTECH, who have very kindly agreed to host this session for us in their premises. My colleagues, scientists, distinguished scientists of IMTECH, my colleagues of CSIU, my brothers and sisters at CSIU, distinguished guests, as well as our honorable guests from the press. It's my great privilege and pleasure to invite you all to this opening session of the 1 week 1 lab program of CSIR, Central Scientific Instruments Organization at Chandigarh. So, CSIR is like State Bank of India, it's just one organization. In fact, we have no other legal separate entity also between laboratories. So the celebrations talk in Sector 38, Chandigarh today, and in Chandigarh only. So we were fortunate that our DG kindly agreed that the two programs could be concatenated and held in sequence at Chandigarh. So the celebrations stay in Chandigarh for a long time, and all of us, both laboratories, celebrate for a longer time. No? We have a longer festival together. So very quickly, I would just say CSIU is a very old laboratory. We started in 1959 and moved to our present campus in 1960. Specific instruments, medical equipment for defense sector. And for a long time, CSIU has served the requirements of the Indian nation. Initially, we imported a lot of biomedical high-end equipment across the country in hospitals. And CSIU formed 13 centers across the country to provide for the service and maintenance of this equipment across the country. We have centers, 13 centers. And our scientists were maintaining these equipments. For example, CSIU built all the original seismometers that were used in seismic observatories across India for a very long time. Even today, some of our seismometers are still running in many of these seismic observatories. We have delivered many optical instruments for the Air Force, for the Army in the past. And CSIU was actually responsible for spawning off the optics industry in Ambala and Chandigarh. This cluster actually was nurtured by CSIU and developed for the nation. So CSIU has played a central role in many things, and it continues to do so. Today CSIU has certain verticals: defense technologies, biomedical technologies, societal technologies, including agro-based electronics for agro-based technologies, and so on. It's a laboratory with a very varied expertise and a very range of activities as well. So befitting its status with this multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, to celebrate the 1 week, 1 life program as mandated by our Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, in order to showcase achievements in all the areas that CSIU works, we had to come out with a very large number of events, and which we have done so. We are celebrating over 17 events during the next 1 week. And some of these events, I don't want to list out all the events. We are having a very important National Avionics Display Technologies Conference on Tuesday, where all the stakeholders and end users such as the Air Force, BEL, HAL, everybody are participating in big strength. We are having a 1-day-long meeting on roadmap to biomedical devices on Wednesday, presided by the Secretary DBT, chaired by the Secretary DBT, and so on. So we have a series of events, including skill development events. We have an industry interface event on Monday next. We have many such events going on through the thing, including skill development courses conducted by our material scientists and chemists in the laboratory as part of the ACS activities. We are showcasing our connections to all professional societies and professional learned societies. For example, the IET, for example, the ACS, SPI. We have a joint program with the Indian Radio Science Society and URSI, the Union Radio Science International, and so on. CSIU is going to demonstrate in the coming week its strengths, its achievements, its successes, and through these events, where we are expecting a very large number of learned personalities and senior members of the government and industry to come in, we expect to draw the future roadmap also for CSIU through this event. It's going to be very important. So today, the Honorable Director General is with us today in the afternoon, though we are starting the program here, it's only the start. In the afternoon, we are going to go over to CSIO, where I invite all of you, where the Honorable Director General Dr. Kalai Selvi is going to inaugurate a multitude of facilities that have been created, including a state-of-the-art computational services, a central analytic facility, lay the foundation stone for a micro-nano optical center, which is going to be pretty unique across the nation. It's going to be a national facility where any microstructured or nanostructured optical element over very large sizes can be produced. Such a facility does not exist in the country today, and it is maybe present in only 2-3 places across the world even today. These are very specialized facilities which will serve the Indian requirements for a long time. Apart from that, we are also we are showcasing one more fact, that CSIO is a zero waste discharge campus already, and every bit of the waste within the campus is composted in-house and converted into garden manure, which I'm happy to share that we have also been sharing with IMTECH so far for your gardens. So, Dr. Kalai Selvi will be inaugurating all these, and I extend my cordial and warm invitation to all of you present in this audience to come over in the afternoon to CSIO and witness all these facilities. And with that, once again, with welcoming you and Madam, I will close my initial remarks here, and thank you very much for your attention.
Shukriya, Professor Anant Ramakrishna ji. Now, some virtual inaugurations of CSIO by Honorable DG CSIR. We request respected Madam, first for the virtual inauguration of 1 week, 1 lab program of CSIR CSIO. Virtual inauguration of 1 week, 1 lab program of CSIR CSIO. इसके साथ ही साथ आज के दिन पर CSIO की वार्षिक रिपोर्ट भी जो है वो जारी की जा रही है, और वर्चुअल प्रमोशनल वीडियोस ऑफ CSIO भी रिलीज की जा रही हैं. एट द सेम टाइम, लॉन्च ऑफ इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट चैप्टर ऑफ CSIO American Chemical Society ACS CSIO is also scheduled. We request Madam to do the launch of this chapter also. Founded by Dr. Suman Singh, Principal Scientist and Head MSSA CSIO, and Professor Akashdeep, Scientist INST Mohali, the chapter is aimed to create an enriching environment to nurture and growth and learning and collaboration. All the virtual release Now the virtual launch of promotional videos of CSIO. Virtual launch of promotional videos of CSIO, and then CSIO और अब समय है महानिदेशक CSIR माननीय मैडम के संबोधन का, and I am taking the opportunity to invite madam for the address speech.
Namaskar, Vanakkam, and pleasant morning to every one of you. I'm extremely happy, doubly excited because two of my very great families are sitting here. And as I told, whenever we are celebrating something, we feel the strength of unity one more time. Once upon a time, all these festivals and celebrations were planned only with a view of showcasing our unity, only to get a feeling that, yeah, we are all one. And the moment we all gather together, that is called mob psychology. We feel like jumping, singing, dancing, doing something very funny, very useful, very celebrative way, in a very special way, for which celebrations that are happening in scientific organizations are also not an exception. Meaning is, don't ask me, ma'am, shall we sing, shall we dance now? No, not that way. Meaning is, we can celebrate science, we can sing scientific songs, we can make science to dance in our laboratories, and this is how we have to celebrate science, because they say chemistry is the language for life. And the moment I just entered here, I was totally thrilled. I was thinking IMTECH, I thought that it's a small laboratory. Oh, it's so full. These many people are from IMTECH. Then only I got to know that it's a combination of IMTECH, CSIO, 1 week, 1 lab winners, maybe some well-wishers, and I think a part of Indian society. So then I realized this is the strength, and truly speaking, I'm feeling much more excited today. Normally I used to say from the bottom of my heart, after visiting IMTECH, I think I have to now correct my thing. From the bottom of my gut, I should thank everyone. I think somewhere she is sitting. So the kind of gut microbiome kind of research that she was explaining, the kind of explanations which were given by Sanjeev for gut microbiome, I realized, am I a human being now, or I am just a collection of microbes? So really I'm thankful to each and every one of you, because this morning was made very special by two of these great leaders. Because from morning 8 o'clock, I should say morning 8 o'clock, I thought that it is just going to be a breakfast. But there was a surprise waiting for me. Young bloods, those who are sitting here, so they all were made to meet with me. And whether they got motivated or not, I really got much more motivated after talking to them. And I could see that gentleman now also. I was just asking them, can you just put it in simple words, what is the kind of research that you are doing here? And I was just motivating them, maybe you should come up with, I have given some homework also to them. So I don't know how many of them are cursing me now. So I just told them that maybe you should come up with a 1 or 2 minute video wherein you should be able to explain the bigger versions and the technical words in a common man's language. Because the purpose of science is to reach the society and to serve for the society. It is not to be celebrated only by the scientist in terms of technical words. It is not that way. So the moment we reach the society, the moment we reach the unreached part of these citizens, that is where science is getting celebrated, that is where science is getting acknowledged also. And when a girl was trying to explain me, ma'am, I'm working on metamaterials. I said, what is that metamaterials? Can you just put it in simple language? Then that person came, because he understood that Kalai Selvi's knowledge level is so poor, so I have to just make her understand. Then he said, ma'am, metamaterials is nothing but, can you repeat it now?
Harry Potter
invisible coat of the Harry Potter, he said. I said, this is what I want. So if you say, it was so spontaneous. It was spontaneously coming from here. Why I am telling you is because many youngsters are sitting here. The purpose of science is not only to nurture this kind of scientific talents with the upcoming generation, meaning is school children and college children. It is not only that. but also you should reach a common man, for which I was just looking for how will you define a metamaterial. So suddenly he came up with this kind of a narration. It is nothing but in simple words, the Harry Potter's invisible code. So then actually I felt like jumping back. So this is how science should be translated in simple words, and this is where science is really now getting itself redefined for its simplicity. You can do high-end science. All the high-end science and all the high-end research output, they ought to be made as simple as possible. You have to put it in a capsule. IMTECH is always talking about these capsules as well as vials. So I have seen some vacuum vials also, and I got a new lesson. So if at all you are able to put all your science in a capsule, and if you are able to just deliver it, I think that is the biggest delivery and that is the most relevant delivery. And when I am talking about the capsule and vials, actually that gentleman, I forgot his name, Ravi or I don't know. Ravi only?
Yeah.
Oh, good. My memory is also good. I think CDRI's Memory Plus works very nice. So this Dr. Ravi, he just took us around to a different world, and I had a very beautiful experience from 9:30 onwards. Like a common man who is really thinking of SpaceX, he just made me to understand what is this GMP facility. He just put it in a very, very simple form, and he made me to understand what is the best way by means of which this IMTECH, this great organization, is getting itself geared to meet up the requirements of this country for its Indian needs. Because every time for anything and everything, for a raw material or for a starting material or for your active material, the dependence on X country and Y country, it has to be forgotten, and this is the time at which you are supposed to forget, or you will be mandated to forget also. And this is where very thoughtfully the visionary leader, the national leadership, so the Honorable Prime Minister as well as the Minister of Science and Technology, they are all that time emphasizing this is the time to think about self-reliance. This is the time to think about indigenization. This is the time to prove Atmanirbharta. So when they are talking all these particular terminologies or definitions, it is no one but those who are sitting here in this auditorium as scientific researchers of today or tomorrow, we have to take it as a responsibility, and we have to make it in reality also. So to make it in reality, I should really appreciate both the leaders, and Sanjeev is also trying his level best to create whatever bigger facilities, whatever basic needs of the country, whatever critical needs of the country in terms of, I would say, immunology or virology or AMR, because I'm also learning now, so I also can talk something technically. So all these needs he is taking into consideration, and he started worrying about the nation because now he is a leader. And he is trying his level best to put in place the basic requirements the country is supposed to have. Because now this geographical, I would say, conflicts or situation or climate, I don't know. So these geographical situations are making us to think in a different way, that if and only if we have all the facilities for our end-to-end requirement, then only we can really become leaders, and then only we can do whatever we really want to do and the time at which we want to do. Because COVID, we have number of reasons to curse it, and we have number of reasons to appreciate it also. So COVID only made us to understand our inherent strength. COVID only made us to understand the hidden talents. COVID only made the entire globe to realize that India is a big country, not only in size but also in terms of its knowledge, its expertise, its ability to rise to the occasion. Because when India was able to supply its vaccine to more than 100 countries across the globe, then the globe started believing. Yeah, India is no longer a simple country, it is a developing country, and it is going to be the developed country, and it is developing in a much faster rate that Indians are also believing. Because we Indians, we believe that, yeah, we will be growing only in that fashion, but it is not so. The globe is looking India from a different perspective. Those who want to really excel in the area of economics, those who want to come up with a kind of revolutionary developments in the coming centuries, they are also now looking at India. Either they should accept India or they wish to travel with India. I think such kind of things are now happening in the global level. When the national leadership is traveling to the great USA, the kind of reception, the kind of respect, the kind of recognition, and the kind of involvement, the kind of interest that he is receiving from the other end, that is the testimony. That's why I always used to say, whether we believe it or not, whether we accept it or not, others they started believing that this is high time that India has to be believed, trusted and taken into confidence, without which I think the globe cannot see the light of tomorrow. And when others started feeling that way, others started believing that way, are we realizing it? I think this is high time we should realize our inherent strength, and we should also accept and realize that this is the time we should also rise to the occasion, and we have to prove in every possible area that India can lead the entire globe through science, technology and innovation. And friends, when somebody was receiving the certificates by shadow a scientist, I just asked one student, so did you learn something and how was the shadow? I first asked him how was the shadow. Then he gave a smile, yeah, it was nice. Meaning shadow a scientist is a great opportunity. You are getting yourself connected with a scientist. Today, maybe or yesterday, you were experiencing the shadow of a scientist, because tomorrow you are going to be the scientist. That shadow gives you the kind of confidence. And the more you handshake with the scientists, and when you go near them, touch them, talk to them, and you start arguing with them, and when you experience the shadow of a scientist, then automatically I think you will get your, I would say, or your hormones, I would say, they will also get a kind of a different energy. They will motivate you in a different way, and it will reach up to your thought process. And somebody today morning was talking about some, I think, your lab only, CSIO, somebody was talking about psychology related research could also be connected with instruments. So I think we are now living in a totally different environment and a different timeline, wherein the requirements are changing day by day. And whenever we are going with this kind of changes, we the human beings, are we getting ourselves geared up, ready to meet out the changes which are happening either with our interest or without even our interest? One good example is the climate change. And another good example is the kind of recent pandemic. So there is no assurance that we will not get one more pandemic, but we wish we should not get one more pandemic. But I am so happy to learn that this particular laboratory, IMTECH, is already having the platform. They are ensuring the preparedness to mitigate even the future pandemics, if at all anything happens in that particular direction. So the Honorable Prime Minister always insists that we have already burnt our fingers, but we learnt good lessons also with the pandemic. We lost lives, quite a good amount of lives. Therefore, it should not get repeated in the future, and therefore how far we are getting ourselves prepared to mitigate the future pandemics. So it is not remaining, it is no longer remaining as a question mark, because this particular laboratory has thought about it, and you have taken up the words of the Honorable Prime Minister very seriously, and you are thinking in that direction, and you are creating the facility. You are now pruning your expertise and capabilities also in that direction. And one good example, what he told me was, today in the country, the experts in the fungal area is not that great, and we have now recruited one person exclusively for that area. I think this is where the director's job is really required. You have to identify the area in which it is to be strengthened, or the area in which the research has to be prioritized, and this lab is doing more than enough justice in that particular area. And when these friends were showing me some kind of a microbial culture which is kept inside the vacuum vial, and it was very interesting to realize, they said that even if you break open it after 50 years, then it will start growing. I said that Microbes are ready to grow even after 50 years. See their tolerance level. See the kind of tolerance with which it is waiting for an opportunity. Like a seed. Seed, you are just putting it under the soil. And next day it is not going to just germinate and it is not going to come out of it. It is just waiting. The moment a drop of rain reaches the surface of the earth, then it starts germinating. Till it gets the first drop, it is waiting, and it is waiting with a lot of hope. It never undergoes depression. It never undergoes frustration. Because these days we are always talking about some unwanted terminologies called stress, frustration. I don't know. What are the meanings of these words? But nature is minute by minute, nature is teaching us lesson. And today I got another lesson. Even microbes are always active. Even if you keep them in the vacuum, meaning is you are always restricting them. You are restricting the microbe for the period of 50 years. And even after 50 years, the moment you break open the thing, and even if a small leakage is there, it is just waiting for an opportunity, and it is coming out and it starts its life. What are the great example? What are the beautiful example you want in your life? So friends, I am not asking any one of you to wait for 50 years without any kind of an opportunity. It is not that way. What I am telling is now we are having more than enough opportunities. We have more than enough infrastructure. We have more than enough guidance, mentorship, everything is available. At times, you may come across with some kind of difficulty that you can call it as a hiccup or a hampering issue or maybe a temporary kind of a disturbance. Please don't get carried away by only those things. Necessity is only the mother of always. It is the mother of success. So the more you are longing for, the more is your tolerance to accept and undergo whatever it may be the difficulty. I think that is where you are getting or you are preparing yourself to celebrate the victory. So it is not only the scientists. If I talk about the life of scientists, then it becomes a kind of a story. And you will say that no, it is old dated. You talk something which is relevant to today. That's why I have taken the example of microbes. So friends, every day please take a lesson from the nature, from your neighbor, from your nearest neighbor, I would say, and for which I think you need not go to anywhere else. CSIR as an organization itself is a great example. Like changing the Olympic torch, Sanjeev is going with the closing ceremony, and that is where Ananta is starting his one week, one lab program. So they're just changing. Now the responsibility is going from 1 week, 1 lab. Responsibility is moving from IMTECH to CSIR. That's all. So this is how, like a rolling ball. Now the responsibility one by one every lab is taking, and you are trying your level best to reach out to the society in your own way. This Shadow a Scientist, this program is really, in my opinion, it is really satisfying the requirements of younger generation, because once upon a time in CSIR we had one program called CTYLS, CSIR program in youth leadership in science. So we used to call this kind of school children, and I'm really feeling so jealous of these school children. From Jordan, from Gujarat, people are coming. So I asked him which student should be given, whether the Jordan student or the Gujarat student. They both came together, and you are present here as a big group, and you have traveled all the way from your place just to be a part of this celebration. And I think today should give you a kind of a new thought process, and this should really make some kind of a magical difference in your thought process also. And whenever we are talking about these school children, as well as our nurturing of school children and college students through skill development, again I was excited to see this MERC and IMTECH related some skill development program which is going on here. There also I learnt a lesson, because somebody was proudly telling from IMTECH, this is a public-private partnership which is really functioning for the 3rd year or the 4th year. So friends, people from this particular skill development group, they say that they are making ready the industry-ready skill sets within students. So once upon a time, all these opportunities were not there. And when the government is now talking about startups, sustainable startups, I will tell you one particular data, which was discussed just 2 days back with the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology. Even though we talk about 1 lakh startups are really running successfully, if you actually see how many of them are really successful in their real-time life for every dimension, the number says it is only 1,000. Meaning is, the real success rate is 1%. Therefore, we as scientists, we as researchers, what are we going to do extra to the country? What are we going to do justice with respect to the startups to ensure that they remain as sustainable startups in the coming days also? So to begin with is easy. Maintaining something is very, very difficult. And to complete it so perfectly is much more difficult. So the startups will definitely come up with a kind of an idea. And you and me should be there to handhold them till they see the light of the day, till they reach the market, till they penetrate the market, till they commercialize their product. Are we ensuring that kind of a handholding? Most of the laboratories we do. But I feel, after listening to that number, I started realizing that the wavelength or the vibration or the enthusiasm with which we are working with startups, I think it needs 2x, 3x, 10x importance in the coming days. This is high time we have to prioritize our relationship, strengthening our relationship, and to ensure that we are there at the back end with every startup for their sustainable existence in the country, at least for the next 3 to 5 decades. If you and me, we are able to give that kind of an assurance, I think that is the greatest service that we can do to the nation. And coming to again CSIO, I think Ananta has beautifully explained. So far I was thinking that NPL is the custodian of the Constitution of India, because it is, even today it is maintained by NPL. And he made me today to understand and realize that seismometers in the country, even few of them are getting maintained today by CSIO only. You can clap. At least CSIO. At least CSIO persons can clap. So why I am telling is, these are the very unique facilities. These are certain unique arrangements which were made in CSIR, which are really getting maintained only with the help of CSIR, and which will be taken care of by CSIR only in the coming days also. And friends, this is high time we need not talk about it was done like this 10 years back, it was done like this 2 years back. No, friends. I think I already told you technologies are short-lived. Now human beings, we are long-living, whereas technologies are short-lived. So therefore, every day you have to think in a totally different direction. You should have the flexibility and you should have the cushion in your thought process. To what extent I can really repurpose the existing knowledge? To what extent I can really reorient my thought process according to the requirement? So because when we talk about instruments, now number of instruments, whether it is medical instrument or strategically important instruments, or analytical instruments. So for every instrument, one speciality, one unique capability is required, and I'm sure that it is readily available in an institute called CSIR. And this is high time. Now you realize, whenever I say CSIR, you should clap. I think it's a good symptom. It's a good symptom. I'm able to reach you. So this is high time CSIO also should start thinking, working so closely with CMERA also. Because again, CMERA is Mechanical Engineering Research Institute from Durgapur. They are also working on number of indigenized version of machineries, equipments, assembly lines, processing units. And therefore, your lab, meaning is CSIO and CMERA Durgapur, both of you should really work together. And if you both of you are putting together your ideas, I think we will be able to come up with a number of innovative and challenging solutions maybe in the coming days. And it is such a great coincidence that CMERA, the homegrown person, the CMERA person, Dr. Naresh Murmu, He is another very great, vibrant leader, and I just take this opportunity to make an appeal to every CSIO scientist. Please find out your partner, not restricted to CMERI, but also with respect to other laboratories like CIRI Pilani, NAL Bangalore. You are already working with NAL Bangalore. Some of you are working with CIRI Pilani, but I think this is high time you have to intensify your own collaborations. And also you should find out that what are the ways by means of which we can make, whether it is Navy or Army or maybe aerospace industry or analytical instrumentation industry. So all these industrial sectors should really come and knock at the door of a CSIO for their every requirement. As on date, how many of them came on their own, and how many of you tried your level best to approach them? Please think about. Many times the opportunities will not come and knock your door, whereas you should only go and search for it. And we as scientists, sometimes we'll be thinking that this is the requirement, this is the industrial requirement, this is the requirement of the society, and we'll be having our own wish list, our own list of preference, and we'll be working and we'll be getting guided by that particular list. But when you just come out of the laboratory and you just see the society, or when you visit an industry person, then he'll be coming up with a totally different list of requirements, and this is where many a times our technologies are getting defeated so miserably. I'll be thinking that the electricity consumption is a big problem for any kind of a process industry. I'm telling my own example. Once upon a time in my previous laboratory, when we thought that this chloralkali industries ought to be definitely given some kind of a industrial solution, and we thought that we'll come up with a kind of a new concept by means of which they can reduce the electricity consumption from one level to another level. And when we just made it as a presentation in front of the chloralkali industry, I would say consortia, everybody was just looking like this only. Nobody got excited. Nobody was showing any kind of an interest also. After the presentation got over, we just asked them that, so what is it that you are expecting from us? This is what, we said that the presentation is over, your electricity will be reduced from this level to this level, and your space will be reduced. And we were just telling that these are the salient features, advantages and all. They were just looking like that, like watching a movie, they were just sitting like that. Then end of the presentation, they just made us to understand that it is not the kind of electricity reduction that we were looking for. We are looking for a totally different version in which, for example, A, B, C, if these are the 3 unit operations, can I remove the middle composition of this unit operation totally, by means of which I'll be just simplifying my process. So the industry's requirement is different, and we are thinking that this will be the requirement. And many a times we used to say, this is how you can minimize your requirement for hydrogen, minimize your requirement for CO2, and some industry will say, no, we are rich with CO2, we are rich with hydrogen also. Because hydrogen, maybe in any form, they'll be having hydrogen supply as a byproduct. Therefore, please try to understand the other person, maybe empathetically from their viewpoint, be it an industry or startup or an entrepreneur or a student or your own researcher. Try to understand what is it that they are looking for, and then you try to just escalate to that kind of a requirement. I think this should be the basic mantra, and this should be the basic understanding of every scientific fraternity. And my another happiness, which is due to the kind of student strength that you are having, be it CSIR students, and today only I came to know CSIO, he is really managing several hundreds of even diploma students. I think these days, the kind of requirement that is existing from the society or from the industry side, the requirement for diploma holders is much more, rather than they are looking for engineering graduates. Because diploma holders are spending more time in the workshop, and therefore they want that kind of a skill set. So the skill set is already there, they are all bestowed with a kind of a skill set, and CSIO is running one such unique program, and we thought that similar kind of curriculum could be thought about by IMTECH also. See, this kind of a learning is happening. It happened only this morning when both the directors were talking. That time, so casually, Ananta came up with a kind of a suggestion. We are so happy and we are successful with this kind of a curriculum. Why don't you also think about it? Because this kind of IMTECH related unique way of giving diploma is nowhere existing in the country, and therefore I also endorsed it. If at all you can come up with a kind of a unique program which could not be provided by anyone and everyone in the country, please think about it and go ahead. Why? Because now country needs support, country needs skill set, money is available, knowledge is available. Only thing is the knowledge has to be channelized, and the knowledge has to be channelized in such a way it takes the shape of a science, then technology in the form of innovation, and it has to be translated as a market relevant research, and finally I think we will be able to create this market impact. And somebody was talking about some instrumentation. Also, I put on the same question. If at all your research is going to benefit only a limited edition, I think the impact is going to be less. On the other hand, you can find out what is the market need today, where this Indian market is having huge dependence on others, import, and if at all you can make an import substitution in that direction, I think that is where you can do justice to the country. Friends, CSIR is a very, very great organization, the largest publicly funded research organization, and I think the school children, those who are sitting here, you may not be knowing, the CSIR family is such a big family, and we are headed by the Honorable Prime Minister. CSIR Society, the President of the Society is Honorable Prime Minister, and therefore we are getting instructions, suggestions, guidance and mentorship directly from the Honorable Prime Minister. How many other organizations will have that kind of a facility? That kind of a blessed thing. Because it is IMTECH, there is one cat is there. Because somebody was telling, I think that scientist was telling, ma'am, I have proven it up to hamster level. Now you have cat also here. So the moment Sanjeev was telling that this is the animal BSF facility, now it is there to endorse. Yes, Sanjeev has done something. So these are all nature-made arrangements. I think it has not come out of that arrangement. So these are the witnesses. So these are all great coincidences. What I'm telling is, so the cat comes and says that, Kalaiselvi, please believe Sanjeev, he has created BSF facility, animal facility. That is a testimony. So friends, I think these are the occasions in which we can really appreciate, congratulate, understand and realize each other's strength. If you allow me to talk for 2 to 3 hours, I will not be tired at all in appreciating each and every one of you for the kind of contributions that you are making and you are having plans to make. At the same time, I always used to say in every CSIR laboratory, every day you should thankfully recall all your seniors. Whatever you are here today, whatever I am here today, whatever CSIR research labs are today, it is just because of all the seniors and elderly persons who have really made a great science and technology by means of which our existence today is also getting justified. So whenever you realize that, whenever you gratefully recall all the services, then the next important message is to what extent I can do justice to the next generation. So I would say I'm really fortunate to have that kind of a thing. All my elderly people, they have done more than enough justice to science and technology. And therefore today I'm just lifting my collar up and say that it's a 37 laboratory, several thousand scientists are there, several thousands of papers, publications, patents, technology, know-how, industry, society, startup, entrepreneur. I'll be going on talking all these things. Who gave me all these kind of a dare, confidence, and a kind of a database? Who created all these things? All these things were done by all the people, those who have already given the mentorship. Many of them are giving their mentorship even today. Therefore, when we are at the receiving end, we really enjoy. But when am I going to give it to the next generation? In what form I am going to translate it to the next generation? And to what extent I am going to just reciprocate it? Whether I am going to reciprocate it in the same way I received, or can I multiply it and can I give it in a much more greater quantum to the next generation? Friends, when you receive 2 rupees, you should be in a position to give back at least 3 rupees. Therefore, please think about every day. Professor Mashelkar used to say, Professor C.N.R. Rao used to say, the best is yet to come. Whatever you reach as a great accomplishment and achievement, please celebrate, please enjoy, please pat on your shoulders and say that, yeah, you are great, Kaliselvi, you are great, but that is not the end of it. Don't go to any complacent mode. Then also get ready for what next? So I have reached up to this, but my best is yet to come. So when the best is yet to come, but this should not be defined in such a way, my best is yet to come, it will come tomorrow, it will come day after tomorrow, not like that. You should say one more thing also. The best is yet to come, that is a fact that we should realize. And I should work for it today. And today is the day that I should work for my best to come maybe tomorrow. So are we really willing to think in this particular direction? And we from CSIR family, I always used to say, I was just arguing with Ananta also in the car, that whichever organizations can really take care of 3 generations of human beings. We are getting employment in CSIR. Even our father, mother, mother-in-law, father-in-law, everybody's medical care is taken care of. And you have been given a nice quarters. Therefore, you need not worry about where to live. And all the children are getting a quality education. Therefore, children are taken care of for their education. And you will be definitely getting some amount of money, a good amount of money, a great amount of money as pension. And even after superannuation, the medical facility is extended to you. And by the time you superannuate, your children will be definitely well placed. Therefore, your father, you and your children, all the 3 generations are taken care of for their every domestic needs and for their every societal needs. It is made possible by this wonderful organization CSIR, and therefore to what extent we all should be thankful to that. Please think about it. You and I cannot create one more CSIR laboratory, even we cannot create even one more small laboratory. Just think about it, in the year 1942, the country was also not getting freedom by the time. I was telling to Sanjeev also, because every time people used to say, I think I was talking to Ananda also in the same way. Many times people say that yesterday was like this, day before yesterday was also like this, last year was like this, and therefore this is only going to continue. This is how people make reasons, and all these reasons are projected as reasons not to perform. If at all our ancestors, they also believed in such a way that, yeah, definitely we will be ruled by British only forever, we would not have got this freedom in the year 1947. They strongly believed, they dreamt it, and they strongly believed, and it was a belief across the country. They made everyone in the country to believe that we are no longer going to be under the control of British. Definitely we are going to be independent on one day or the other, and it happened. It happened on the 15th of August. It is just because of the greatest belief which was just given to every citizen of the country. And many worked very hard, few worked hard, few others worked harder and the hardest, and finally we got independence. Similarly, this is time for us to realize. This is the time for us to realize how long we are going to depend upon somebody. How long CSIR is going to be yet another organization in the country? When are we going to be the leading organization? When are we going to be identified as the organization which will be the ultimate solution provided to every Indian needs? When are we going to get that kind of an accreditation from, not only from India but also from the globe? So if at all you think that no, it will take its own time, it will not happen in the near future, please avoid all these things. Today is not the same as yesterday was. And tomorrow is also not going to be the same way as today is. Please think positively, think optimistically, believe in you, trust your friends, and also believe that the system will never allow you to fail. I repeat my sentence, the system will never allow you to fail. The system may be your school or your college or your research organization, your university or the society or the country. The system will never allow you to really fall down. Why? Because the system is arranged in such a way that whenever you have some difficulty, it will always come with a kind of a solution. So every problem is having solution which is embedded into that. Please find out the solutions. You should be prepared and you should be bold enough. You should have the tolerance and you should have the belief and trust on the system. Please believe in the system and trust your system, and also please be honest in your every attempt. Whether it is reading or writing or performing research or sharing your research or making it as a translational technology, everywhere honesty is really required. And we are getting recognition. We are really getting all these kinds of respect in the society only because we are doing science. Science is universal and science cannot be made unique every time, but CSIR should try to make science unique to CSIR laboratories. So friends, I think I have taken more than enough energy from you, but all the energy is now getting accumulated here, and therefore now I am just feeling like Ravana in terms of energy, energy. Okay, so what I say is, whenever you talk to another person, be it a student or a scientist or a researcher or an industry or an entrepreneur, always talk positive things. Make the other person also to think positively. Make the other person also to think in the same direction which is required for the country as well as the organization. In one line I can say, the system, the nature and the globe is giving everything which is required for us, and therefore we should give and reciprocate at least a bit. And you and I, we can just give it in the form of science and technology. With these few words, I congratulate all of you and especially Sanjeev Koshla for having completed successfully the 1 week 1 lab, and Ananta, who is going to successfully conduct this 1 week 1 lab program, because now Sanjeev Koshla is sitting so casually, because now this is a moment for him to look at the album. After the marriage or after any event is over, we will so relax. So you will look at the photos and album. Oh, she is looking good. I am looking good. So, and Kalisali is also telling this shadow scientist is good. So all the photos are coming up so nicely. So this is a great moment and a joyful moment to Sanjeev to recall, cherish. And Sanjeev has already made it as a very nice pictorial representation. The collage is really wonderful. Please clap for the collage. I said I could really spot out a human, and he said it is Jiva. And the kind of explanation he gave me, I was really excited again. So IMTECH, this is a time to enjoy, relax and see all the photographs in the album and just pat on your shoulders and say, yeah, I have done really good things. But meaning is, already wedding is over, now living together is the challenge. So whatever you have committed in 1 week 1 lab, you have to do it in reality. So I think that challenge is there. Now coming to Ananta, all this planning gives us a very great feeling, because Diwali is going to be tomorrow, New Year is going to be tomorrow. So more than New Year Eve is very thrilling. So the CSIR is now sitting with that kind of a thrill and excitement. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to celebrate it in this way. Now the dreamline goes, now they are getting some ideas from IMTECH also. So I have to celebrate it in this way. So I think they are now sitting with all those ambitious things, thrills and excitement. So by looking at all these albums and the action plans, I think I am the real beneficiary. Thank you so much for having given this golden opportunity. And I wish each and every one of you all the very best. Again, my very, from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of my gut also, hearty congratulations, appreciations, and I wish all the school children also all the very best in your future endeavor. Those who are sitting in this auditorium, maybe after 10-15 years, at least 2-3 of you should become scientists either in CSIO or in IMTECH, and you should decorate the same auditorium. I wish it should happen. Thank you so much.
हमेशा की तरह बहुत ही इंस्पायरिंग, बहुत ही मोटिवेटिंग वर्ड्स के लिए इस ऑडिटोरियम में मौजूद हम में से प्रत्येक की ओर से मैं डीजी CSIR माननीय डॉक्टर कलई सेल्वी का तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और मैं ये कहने की इजाज़त भी चाहती हूँ और आप सब मुझसे इत्तेफाक रखेंगे कि मैडम के वर्ड्स छूते नहीं हैं, टच नहीं करते, सिर्फ वो आपको झकझोर कर जगाते हैं। तो एक बार नाउ कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए, गोइंग बाय द डिक्शनरी मीनिंग ऑफ मेमेंटो, इट इज समथिंग फॉर रिमेम्बरेंस एंड अ टोकन ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट, just as a remembrance of this mega event. IMTECH as well as CSIO would like to felicitate Madam DG CSIR Dr. Kalai Selvi. पहले हम अनुरोध कर रहे हैं निदेशक IMTECH से माननीय मैडम को सम्मान प्रदान करने के लिए। डॉक्टर खुसरा और अब निदेशक CSIO प्रोफेसर अनंत रामकृष्ण से मैडम को CSIO की ओर से मेमेंटो भेंट करने का है।
The memento that CSIO is presenting, it's not just a memento. It is the net effect of the toil and the sweat of our diploma students of mechanical engineering at ISTC. This is a beautiful piece that they make, which requires them to graduate. They need to make this piece to graduate. It involves all kinds of turnings, boring, off-centered boring, off-centered milling, and every operation. And they show the mastery of their operations through this beautiful piece that they craft.
शुक्रिया सर। शुक्रिया डॉक्टर खुसरा, डॉक्टर रामकृष्ण जी। महानिदेशक CSIR माननीय डॉक्टर कलई सेल्वी की मौजूदगी में इस कार्यक्रम को एक ग्रैंड्योर, एक भव्यता प्रदान की है। इस सभागार में मौजूद प्रत्येक सदस्य की उपस्थिति ने हमारा प्रोत्साहन और उत्साह बढ़ाया है। We would like to formally thank you all. I request Dr. S. Karthikeyan, Chief Scientist IMTECH, to propose a formal vote of thanks, please. Dr. Karthikeyan.
So very good afternoon, Honorable Director General, CSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi. I'm Professor Ananda Ramakrishnan from CSIO Director, and my esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests from CSIO and IMTECH, participants, and my dear students. On behalf of CSIR IMTECH Chandigarh, I would like to extend my gratitude and appreciation to all the dignitaries present here. It is with great pleasure I stand before you today to deliver the vote of thanks for the successful completion of 1 week 1 lakh program organized by CSIR IMTECH Chandigarh. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to our esteemed Director General of CSIR for gracing this occasion on such important milestone in the history of IMTECH. Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, your words are very inspiration and motivation to us. We actually, we thought on point of time we nurture the young students. That's why we have so many programs, and all the coordinators are doing wonderful job. And your word will be very motivation for them too. I would like to thank each one of you for being present throughout this intensive and enriching event under 1 week, 1 lab program. Your dedication and commitment has been instrumental in making this program a resounding success. The vibrant discussions during our organization of this conference, the innovative ideas such as what Director General told now, and the collaborative spirit that permitted the labs, very truly a commendable job. So I would like also to acknowledge the efforts of the organizing committee and the support staff who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth execution of this program. It is very difficult to put each and every name on this one, but I thank all the departments including administration, EST, PTM, finance, horticulture, library, director office, security staff, BRPDC, MTCC, and BSc for their synchronized coordination. Because when you start the program like this, 1 week is like kind of as it is a kind of marriage. You start from all the engagement to the marriage. So of course we have to think how to live together. But it's a wonderful job, and we are all learned by experience, and it also gives us how to handle the things, managing the things, and apart from the results. So as a scientist, we exposed to these kind of things very rarely, but now we know how to do things and manage the things correctly. So all the members, your dedication and meticulous planning have been vital in creating a conducive learning environment for all participants, and your tireless efforts have played a crucial role in making this event very successful. As we conclude this incredible journey, I am filled with hope and excitement for the future. The knowledge gained, the relationship formed, and the inspirations sparked during this program will undoubtedly propel us towards a brighter and more innovative tomorrow. Once again, thank you to everyone who has contributed to the success of 1 week, 1 lab program at IMTECH. I look forward to witnessing the incredible achievements that lie ahead for each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Nandri.
Shukriya, Dr. Karthikeyan. With this, we declare this session closed, and we request you all to join us over a cup of tea in the main lounge in front of our old reception area. Thank you so much for being with us.
बुलाने वाला हक खो गया। क्यों? जो आदमी ढंग के काम ना करता उसको बुलाने का क्या?